Seniors, avoid these 4 ingredients. They harm your heart every day without you noticing. You eat what feels like a normal meal, a sandwich at lunch, a little something sweet after dinner, maybe a quick snack between meals. Nothing extreme, nothing wild. It's the kind of food you've eaten for years without thinking twice. But what if those ordinary choices were quietly harming your heart every single day without you realizing it? What if, bite by bite, ingredients you can barely pronounce are helping clog your arteries, strain your blood vessels, and wear down your most vital organ, all without a single warning bell going off? That's the frightening part. Heart damage doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly, silently. One meal here, one snack there. And unless you know what to look for, it's easy to continue eating foods that speed up the damage without ever knowing it's happening, until the doctor delivers bad news, or you find yourself facing chest pain you can't ignore. But here's the good news. You're not powerless. In today's video, we're uncovering 4 hidden ingredients that could be damaging your heart health every day. We'll break down exactly what they are, where they hide, why they're harmful, and what simple steps you can take to avoid them without giving up the foods you love. Because once you know what's quietly hurting you, you can take action, and it doesn't require flipping your life upside down. Before we dive deeper, we'd love to know, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. We genuinely love reading every single one. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe for more senior-focused health tips made just for you. Now let's uncover the first sneaky ingredient you need to know about. Ingredient number 1, sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite, found in processed meats. The first heart-damaging ingredient you need to watch out for is sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite, 2 types of chemical preservatives commonly found in processed meats. Think about foods like deli turkey, ham, bacon, hot dogs, pepperoni, corned beef, and even some canned meats. These are the foods many of us grew up eating, packed into lunchboxes, served at barbecues, or grabbed for quick, easy meals. They taste savory, salty, and familiar. But inside your body, they can be quietly setting the stage for serious heart problems. Sodium nitrate and nitrite are used to preserve color, enhance flavor, and extend shelf life. They keep meats looking pink and fresh, even when they've been sitting on a grocery shelf for days. But once inside your body, these chemicals can cause oxidative stress, a fancy way of saying they create damaging chemical reactions in your blood vessels. Over time, this stress inflames your arteries, encourages plaque buildup, and makes it easier for clots to form, all major risk factors for heart attacks and strokes. Studies have found that people who regularly consume processed meats have a higher risk of heart disease compared to those who rarely eat them. One analysis published in Circulation, a journal from the American Heart Association, showed that just 50 grams of processed meat per day, about 2 slices of bacon, increased the risk of heart disease by 42%. That's not a huge amount, and it's not because of the meat itself. It's because of the preservatives hiding inside it. What's even more concerning is that nitrates and nitrites can transform into nitrosamines once inside the body, especially when heated at high temperatures, like grilling or frying. Nitrosamines are compounds linked not only to heart disease, but also to several types of cancer. So while that hot dog might seem harmless, Your body could be fighting off harmful compounds long after you finish eating. One tricky part is that nitrates and nitrites hide under different names. You might see sodium nitrite clearly on a label, or it might just say cured with celery powder, or natural curing agents. Even so-called natural deli meats often contain similar compounds that act the same way in the body. Another important thing to understand is that while nitrates occur naturally in vegetables like spinach and beets, those forms are actually beneficial to the body because they're paired with antioxidants that neutralize potential harm. The nitrates in processed meats are isolated and chemically stabilized, making them far more dangerous because they lack the balancing compounds that plants provide. You might be wondering, if these ingredients are so harmful, why are they allowed in food? The truth is, they help keep costs down, food fresh longer, and flavors appealing to customers. And for decades, the long-term risks were overlooked or brushed aside. But today, with better research, we know that even small, regular amounts can do harm over time. So what symptoms might show up if your heart is being strained by these ingredients? Unfortunately, early signs of damage are silent. You won't feel your arteries stiffening. You won't feel inflammation until it's caused significant issues. What you might notice are indirect clues: higher blood pressure during routine checkups, more frequent fatigue after mild exertion, or slower recovery after activities that used to feel easy. But often, the first real sign people experience is a life-changing event like chest pain or a heart attack. And by then, the damage has already been done. The good news is, you don't have to eliminate every processed meat forever. It's about reducing how often you eat them and being smarter about your choices. Opt for fresh, minimally processed meats whenever possible. Look for labels that say, no nitrates or nitrites added. But even then, check the fine print, because some companies use natural nitrates that behave similarly. Better yet, center your meals around lean proteins like chicken breast, fish, beans, or lentils. These options protect your heart rather than harm it. If you do enjoy a slice of bacon or deli turkey once in a while, balance it out with lots of colorful vegetables, fiber, and healthy fats like olive oil, which help reduce inflammation and protect your arteries. And when you grill or cook meats, do so at lower temperatures to reduce the formation of harmful nitrosamines. Before we move on, remember this: even small amounts of processed meats with nitrates and nitrites can quietly damage your heart over time. Choosing fresh, minimally processed options whenever possible is one of the simplest ways to protect your heart every single day. Ingredient number 2, trans fats, partially hydrogenated oils. The next hidden threat to your heart health is trans fats, especially in the form of partially hydrogenated oils. While these words might sound technical, the damage they cause is very real, and for seniors, it can be especially devastating. Even though food companies have made changes in recent years, trans fats still linger in many processed foods, sneaking into diets without much notice. Trans fats are a man-made type of fat created by adding hydrogen to vegetable oils. This process makes the oil solid at room temperature, which gives foods a longer shelf life and a more satisfying texture. Think about crispy crackers, flaky pastries, margarine, fried fast foods, and even some microwave popcorn. These foods often taste comforting and familiar, but the way they're made turns them into hidden heart hazards. When you eat trans fats, They raise your bad LDL cholesterol and lower your good HDL cholesterol. That's a terrible combination for your arteries. Higher LDL cholesterol leads to plaque buildup inside your blood vessels, while lower HDL cholesterol means you have less of the cleanup crew that usually sweeps bad cholesterol away. Over time, this imbalance causes your arteries to narrow and harden, restricting blood flow and forcing your heart to work harder. But the danger doesn't stop there. Trans fats also increase inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation may sound like a minor problem, but inside your arteries, it acts like a slow-burning fire. It damages the delicate lining of blood vessels, making them more prone to clots and blockages, the very things that trigger heart attacks and strokes. What's even trickier is that small amounts of trans fats can still legally be included in foods without having to be clearly listed. In the United States, for example, if a product contains less than 0.5 grams of trans fat per serving, the label can legally say 0 grams trans fat. That means if you eat multiple servings of these foods, you could easily be consuming harmful amounts without even realizing it. So where do you need to be especially cautious? Trans fats often hide in baked goods like cookies, cakes, pies, and donuts, packaged snack foods like crackers and microwave popcorn, frozen pizzas and processed frozen meals, non-dairy creamers and some margarine products, and fried foods from restaurants or fast food chains. Even buttery spreads and some peanut butters can still sneak in partially hydrogenated oils if you don't read the ingredient list carefully. It's not enough to trust the front of the package. You have to flip it over and look closely. One easy tip: scan the ingredients list for the words partially hydrogenated. If you see that phrase anywhere, the product contains trans fats, even if the label says 0 grams. That's your sign to put it back on the shelf. For seniors, this is particularly critical. Aging already puts natural strain on the heart and blood vessels. Adding inflammation and cholesterol imbalances from trans fats only accelerates the risks of heart attacks, strokes, and circulation problems. Even a little exposure, day after day, can set the stage for serious issues years down the road. The good news: avoiding trans fats is very doable once you know where to look. Stick to whole foods as much as possible. Things like fresh vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, lean proteins, and healthy oils like olive oil or avocado oil. When you do choose packaged foods, check the ingredients, not just the nutrition facts. And when eating out, opt for grilled, baked, or steamed items rather than fried options. Just to lock it in, trans fats, especially in the form of partially hydrogenated oils, silently raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and promote dangerous inflammation. Even if the label says 0 grams trans fat, always check the ingredients list to stay safe. Ingredient number 3, high-fructose corn syrup, HFCS. Next on the list of sneaky heart-harming ingredients is high-fructose corn syrup, often abbreviated as HFCS. You've probably heard this name before, but you might not realize just how widespread it is, or how much damage it can quietly cause to your cardiovascular system over time. High-fructose corn syrup is a sweetener made from cornstarch that's been processed to convert some of its glucose into fructose. It's cheaper and sweeter than regular sugar, which is why food manufacturers love using it in everything from sodas to ketchup to salad dressings. It's practically everywhere. Now, sugar itself isn't exactly a health food, but high-fructose corn syrup poses an even bigger problem. Because of its chemical structure, HFCS is absorbed more rapidly by the body, leading to sudden spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. Over time, these spikes increase the risk of insulin resistance, a condition where your body doesn't respond to insulin properly. Insulin resistance is a major contributor to type 2 diabetes, obesity, and importantly, heart disease. What does this have to do with your heart? When insulin resistance develops, it creates a cascade of problems: higher blood sugar levels, higher triglycerides, a type of fat in the blood, and higher blood pressure. These factors create the perfect storm for damaging arteries, encouraging plaque buildup, and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. High-fructose corn syrup also feeds inflammation inside the body, particularly inside blood vessels. This silent inflammation can erode the lining of arteries, making them more vulnerable to injury and blockages. And like the other ingredients we've discussed, HFCS often hides in foods you wouldn't expect. Sure, it's obvious in sodas and candy, but it also shows up in bottled salad dressings, breads and buns, yogurts, even low-fat ones, breakfast cereals and bars, canned soups and sauces and condiments like barbecue sauce and ketchup. Manufacturers use HFCS not just to sweeten foods, but also to help preserve texture and extend shelf life. That's why it's hiding even in foods that aren't supposed to be sweet. If you're over 60, your body's ability to regulate blood sugar and blood pressure naturally becomes more sensitive. That's why HFCS is particularly dangerous for seniors. Even moderate daily intake can speed up the progression of artery damage, raise triglyceride levels, and set the stage for serious heart trouble. To protect yourself, start by reading labels carefully. Look not just for high-fructose corn syrup, but also for other forms of added sugars like corn syrup solids, fructose, or glucose-fructose syrup. Better yet, favor foods that are naturally sweet, like fruits, and use minimal added sugars in home cooking. And remember, drinks are one of the biggest hidden sources. Sodas, sweet teas, energy drinks, and even flavored waters often contain HFCS. Water, herbal teas, or homemade smoothies with fresh fruits are better choices for your heart. Just to lock it in, keep in mind that high-fructose corn syrup is a major contributor to blood sugar problems, artery damage, and inflammation. Reducing your intake, especially from processed foods and drinks, is one of the smartest moves you can make for a stronger, healthier heart. Another important point to remember is that even small daily amounts of HFCS can be harmful over time. It's not just about avoiding big, sugary desserts. It's the hidden sugars in your everyday foods, your breakfast bar, your healthy yogurt, even your store-bought soup, that add up meal after meal, day after day. Seniors are especially at risk because as we age, our body's ability to manage blood sugar naturally declines. This means that even moderate HFCS intake can push the body toward inflammation, high triglycerides, and ultimately heart strain without the person feeling anything wrong at first. The real danger with HFCS is that it doesn't announce itself. There's no immediate stomach ache, no pounding heart right after eating it. Instead, it quietly fuels the conditions that stiffen arteries, thicken blood, and tire out the heart over time. That's why it's critical to become a label reader. and to favor real, whole foods as much as possible. Just to lock it in, high-fructose corn syrup hides in everyday foods and drinks, where it silently feeds blood sugar problems, artery damage, and long-term heart risk. Cutting back starts with reading labels and making smarter swaps, one meal at a time. Ingredient number 4, excess sodium, salt overload from packaged foods. The fourth ingredient that could be silently harming your heart every day is excess sodium, especially from packaged and processed foods. Now, salt is something every human body needs to function. It's critical for balancing fluids, nerve communication, and muscle function. But when it comes to heart health, too much salt, particularly the kind loaded into processed foods, is a major danger, especially for seniors. Sodium causes your body to retain extra water. That extra fluid increases the volume of blood flowing through your blood vessels. More volume means more pressure, and more pressure means your heart has to work harder to pump blood around your body. Over time, this constant extra strain can lead to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension, which is one of the biggest risk factors for heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure, and even dementia. Here's the tricky part. When you think of too much salt, you probably imagine grabbing the salt shaker at dinner. But the truth is, the salt you sprinkle on your food is only a small part of the sodium most people consume. The real culprits are hidden in processed, pre-packaged foods, the stuff that's supposed to make life easier, but ends up being much harder on your heart. Common high-sodium foods include canned soups and broths, even the healthy or low-fat kinds, packaged deli meats and cheeses, frozen meals, especially anything labeled quick or microwavable, sauces like soy sauce, barbecue sauce, and salad dressings, pickles, olives, and other preserved vegetables, breads, rolls, and bakery items you wouldn't think of as salty, and snack foods like crackers, pretzels, and chips. The real danger is how sneaky it is. You can eat a sandwich with deli meat and cheese, a canned soup for lunch, and a small frozen dinner, and easily consume double the recommended daily amount of sodium without even picking up the salt shaker. The American Heart Association recommends that adults consume no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day, especially for people over 60 or those with high blood pressure. Yet the average American eats more than 3,400 milligrams every single day, more than double what the heart can handle safely over the long term. Even worse, excess sodium doesn't just impact blood pressure. It also stiffens blood vessels, making them less flexible and harder for blood to flow through. It encourages calcium deposits that narrow arteries. It even weakens the heart muscle over time, reducing its ability to pump efficiently. All of these changes raise the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure significantly. Now you might be wondering, how can I possibly control this if it's hidden everywhere? The answer isn't about cutting out salt entirely. It's about being smarter about where it comes from. You can make huge improvements simply by reducing the amount of processed and packaged foods you eat. Focus on whole, fresh foods whenever possible. Choose low-sodium versions of canned goods, or rinse canned vegetables and beans under water before cooking to remove excess salt. When eating out, ask for sauces and dressings on the side so you control how much you use. And when buying frozen meals or snacks, check the label carefully. Aim for options with less than 300 milligrams of sodium per serving whenever you can. Another tip is to use more flavorful herbs and spices when cooking at home. Ingredients like garlic, lemon juice, black pepper, basil, rosemary, and cumin add vibrant flavor without extra salt. Your taste buds will adjust, and so will your heart. It's also important to stay mindful of healthy-sounding foods. Many products labeled organic, low-fat, or gluten-free still pack in just as much sodium as regular versions. Always check the nutrition facts, no matter how healthy the packaging looks. One final point to remember: the effects of excess sodium are cumulative. That means, even if you don't feel anything right away, no headaches, no swelling, no high blood pressure at your last checkup, the damage can still be quietly happening inside your arteries over months or years. Lowering your sodium intake now can help reduce that silent stress and keep your heart stronger for longer. Just to recap, keep in mind that excess sodium isn't just about the salt shaker. It's hidden in packaged foods where it drives up blood pressure, stiffens arteries, and silently stresses your heart every day. Choosing fresh, whole foods and reading labels are two of the best defenses you have. Bonus ingredient: artificial flavors and preservatives. Beyond the big offenders like nitrates, trans fats, high-fructose corn syrup, and excess sodium, there's another sneaky culprit that harms the heart every single day: artificial flavors and chemical preservatives. They don't sound very threatening at first. After all, they're just additives, right? But the truth is, these hidden ingredients can promote inflammation, strain the liver and kidneys, and ultimately contribute to long-term heart trouble. Artificial flavors are lab-created chemicals designed to mimic the taste of real foods. They're cheaper to produce, more stable in packaged goods, and used to create a wide range of flavors, from fruity candies to savory chips. Meanwhile, chemical preservatives like BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, and sodium benzoate are added to foods to prevent spoilage and extend shelf life. The problem is that many of these chemicals have been linked in studies to increased oxidative stress and inflammation inside the body. Oxidative stress means your cells are under constant attack by unstable molecules called free radicals. Over time, this ongoing damage can stiffen arteries, harm blood vessels, and accelerate the aging of your heart. For seniors, this matters even more. As we get older, our body's natural defense systems, our antioxidants, our repair mechanisms, don't work quite as efficiently as they used to. This makes the heart and blood vessels even more vulnerable to cumulative damage from daily exposure to artificial chemicals. Foods most likely to contain artificial flavors and preservatives include packaged snacks like chips, cookies, and candy, breakfast cereals, frozen prepared meals, instant soups and noodles, bottled dressings and condiments, flavored yogurts and milk drinks, and processed meats and fast food items. Artificial flavors and preservatives often hide under vague terms like natural flavoring or artificial flavoring. They don't have to be fully spelled out on the label, which makes avoiding them a little tricky. When you see a long list of unrecognizable chemical names or vague words like flavoring, it's a strong signal the product is highly processed and likely loaded with additives that stress the body. One simple guide: the fewer ingredients you see, and the more real food names you recognize, the better the product is likely to be for your heart and your overall health. Let's go over it again. artificial flavors, and chemical preservatives silently contribute to inflammation, oxidative stress, and artery damage. Choosing real, minimally processed foods is one of the best defenses you have against these hidden dangers. Now, take a quiet moment to think. Have you been unknowingly consuming some of these harmful ingredients? You're certainly not alone if the answer is yes. Food marketing is powerful. Labels are confusing. For decades, we were told certain foods were fine, sometimes even marketed as heart-healthy, only to find out later that they contained hidden chemicals, bad fats, excessive sugars, or sky-high levels of sodium. It's not your fault. You've been misled by bright packaging, sneaky advertising, and long ingredient lists that seem harmless at first glance. Most people never stood a chance at spotting the hidden risks, but now you know better. And when you know better, you can do better. And better choices start today. There's no need to feel guilty about the past. Your focus should be on what's ahead, on protecting your heart, strengthening your body, and making sure you stay active, independent, and vibrant for as long as possible. The key to moving forward is understanding this important truth. It's about small swaps, not perfection. You don't need to become a nutrition expert overnight. You don't have to give up all your favorite foods or eat salads for every meal. Real lasting change happens when you make simple adjustments that protect your heart meal after meal, day after day. Here's a quick look at simple, natural replacements that can help. Instead of processed meats, choose fresh, cooked meats. Grill or roast a chicken breast at home and slice it yourself for sandwiches. Bake turkey meatballs instead of buying frozen ones. Fresh meats don't need nitrates or nitrites to stay safe when properly refrigerated. And your heart will thank you. Instead of packaged baked goods, enjoy homemade treats with real ingredients. If you love muffins, bake your own using oats, bananas, and a little honey. That way, you control the sweetness and skip the trans fats and preservatives that often lurk in store-bought versions. Instead of sodas and sugary drinks, choose water, herbal teas, or fruit-infused water. Flavor your water naturally with slices of lemon, cucumber, or berries. If you want a little sweetness, a splash of 100% fruit juice in sparkling water feels like a treat, without the blood sugar spike of HFCS-filled sodas. Instead of canned soups, make simple, homemade soups. It's easier than you think. A pot of broth, fresh vegetables, and some herbs can create a delicious soup without the wallop of sodium that canned versions carry. You can even freeze extra portions for busy days. Instead of store-bought salad dressings, make your own with olive oil and vinegar. Bottled dressings are often full of preservatives, sugars, and cheap oils. Mixing a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil with a splash of vinegar or lemon juice creates a heart-healthy dressing in seconds. Instead of processed snacks, snack on nuts, seeds, or fresh fruit. A small handful of almonds, walnuts, or sunflower seeds provides healthy fats and minerals without the artificial flavors, trans fats, or hidden sugars. None of these swaps require extreme changes. None of them demand fancy diets or expensive foods. They're simply about choosing real foods more often. Foods that nourish your heart instead of burdening it. And here's the beautiful part. The more you swap, the better you'll feel. Many seniors report having more energy, less bloating, better sleep, and even more stable moods within just a few weeks of reducing processed foods. And over time, these changes can add up to a lower risk of heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, and memory problems. Every day, most people eat without thinking about what's really in their food. But today, you've taken a huge step forward. You now know about 4 common ingredients that quietly harm your heart, and you know why they're so dangerous. First, we talked about sodium nitrates and nitrites, preservatives found in processed meats like bacon, ham, and deli slices. These chemicals damage your blood vessels, trigger inflammation, and silently increase your risk of heart attacks. Even if you're only eating a few slices of processed meat here and there, the damage builds over time. Second, we uncovered the truth about trans fats, hiding in foods made with partially hydrogenated oils. Found in baked goods, snack foods, and some frozen meals, trans fats raise your bad cholesterol, lower your good cholesterol, and inflame your arteries. Even small amounts cause serious harm, especially as we age and our body's repair systems slow down. Third, we revealed the dangers of high-fructose corn syrup. This cheap sweetener fuels blood sugar spikes, insulin resistance, and dangerous triglyceride levels, all of which add heavy strain to your heart. It hides in sodas, breads, dressings, and even healthy snack bars. Over time, it quietly sets the stage for heart attacks and strokes without warning signs. Fourth, we exposed excess sodium, the hidden salt overload in canned goods, frozen meals, condiments, and restaurant foods. It silently drives up blood pressure, stiffens your arteries, and forces your heart to work harder every single day. It's not just the salt you sprinkle. It's the salt baked into nearly every processed food on the shelf. And finally, we introduced the bonus ingredient, artificial flavors and preservatives, which increase oxidative stress and inflammation, further weakening blood vessels and the heart muscle over time. Altogether, these ingredients don't usually cause instant pain. That's the trap. The damage is slow, silent, and cumulative, building meal after meal, year after year. And by the time obvious symptoms appear, it can be much harder to undo the harm. But here's the empowering truth. Now you know what to watch for. Every meal is a new chance to protect your heart. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to give up everything you love. Small changes make a massive difference over time. Choosing fresh meats instead of processed ones. Reading labels and avoiding hidden trans fats. Swapping sodas for water or herbal tea. Cutting down on sodium by making simple homemade meals. Favoring real, natural foods over chemical-laden packages. Each of these choices moves you closer to a stronger heart, better circulation, lower blood pressure, and a longer, healthier life. You've already taken the most important step. You're paying attention. And now you're armed with knowledge that can change everything. So, which ingredient shocked you the most? Was it the hidden trans fats? The sneaky sodium hiding in healthy foods? The sugary assault from high-fructose corn syrup? Drop your answer in the comments below. We read every single one. Your story might help someone else recognize what they need to change too. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We create videos just like this, specifically for seniors, focused on realistic, achievable steps to better health, stronger hearts, sharper minds, and a longer, more independent life. This journey to better heart health doesn't end here. It's just beginning, and we're honored to be on it with you. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember, your heart is in your hands, one meal at a time.